Oh, yes. I have no idea about these audio levels. Still. Who's in the chat? Who's in the chat? No, I'm really sorry. Here we go. Oh, yes. 3, 2, 1. Hello, people. Welcome to the Zen Diplomacy Inaugural Podcast live stream something, aka Giant Forehead News. I'm doing my best to hide my forehead in this hat, together with my culturally appropriated dreadlocks. So don't judge me. Yes, and you're watching a video that I took a few weeks back of the Aurora Borealis when it came in. Just swept in over the globe, obviously, but was very visible just above our house. Absolutely amazing. The last dog walk of the night, and yes, use the camera to catch this myself. Although it was cold as hell, so it's totally bumpy. Everything. It's so my hands were icicles. It was super windy. However, yes, so I've been planning this probably for the past 6 months, seriously, but I think like since before last summer, really, I've been talking about this and I've just been putting it off forever. And a few weeks ago, I decided that because of the wonderful numbers of the day, that today would be the day that I did something, regardless if I had something to show for it or not. And of course, 6 months of preparation, I have absolutely nothing to show for it. I have nothing prepared. In my defense, I've been sick like the past 2 weeks, and yeah, I've been cognitively dysfunctional. Really, it's been so hard to talk, even finding words. If anybody out there has like a manual of how to extract information like on command from your brain, that would be great. Because I've had this automatic thing where I just talk, and information is just coming. Like when I need it, it's there. Yeah, of course, sometimes it's wrong, but like now there's nothing. It's just everything's just empty. It's just black. Close my eyes. Yes. Shout out to Antihero in the chat. Good to see you, buddy. Anywho, so yes, so normally I've been doing some test recordings and I have a microphone in front of me on my desk and I just talk, and I guess I've been able to project good enough that I thought the audio has been very well, but I had like an hour here, an hour there today where I tried to do some test recordings and you could not hear what I was saying, so it ended up being like this. I'm holding the microphone, it seems very sensitive if I go moving it just a little bit, so yeah, I hope you can bear with me. I also don't have reliable autofocus on my camera for the moment, so the focus is set manual, and I'm doing my best to remember to look into it, all these things as I'm talking, and I am just forgive me as I do my best to stay in one place and remain in focus, but also fail miserably in doing that, but still. So anyway, yeah, so in general, I just hope you could bear with me, and things could possibly grow and just evolve for the better with time, in time, if any of these public spaces will have me. Yeah, so what's on the agenda here? During these months, I've just been hamstering news, basically. Hamstring, that's a word, right? Where you just put everything in your cheek pockets and you chew on them for a bit, a little here, a little there. Regurgitate, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I've been hamstring news, and most of these news, I felt like, oh, nobody's talking about this, but now it's just, everything is just played out completely. There's a few stories, I guess, that I haven't seen so much anywhere. And today I will try to focus on one thing that I think seems to be pretty big to me, seems to be something that the media should be talking about, but they haven't really. I've spoken to at least one of my friends about this a while back, actually. I can only find it on Indian outlets, like Indian news outlets. Only India is speaking about this, and I feel like that's coming kind of in the wake of India going against Pfizer with the vaccines, saying they want to do like their own advanced trials and things before they sign up for more boosters or something like this. I'm not totally in on the loop there, so I don't know if I could source that, but I'll try to source everything that I say later. Anyway, yes, I'm sorry. I keep looking over here. There's a secondary screen with the Twitch chat, just checking everything's working, and then over here I keep checking and see if I have moved out of focus. But so I'll try to keep my eyes centered, but I have to glance a little here, a little there. Not that too much is going on in the chat, but it keeps updating for some reason. I have no idea how this works. I have no idea what I'm doing. So, oh yes, and dogs are opening the door and wreaking havoc on the house. This is happening. My mother might step in here, stepping in from left of the stage, right of the stage for you guys. She might show up at any moment. Anyway, yes, I'm going to try to focus on this one thing that I've heard a lot about it since I found out about it, and since I follow these Indian news outlets. I have been since I've followed some of these channels since I was abroad many years ago when I was in Southeast Asia. Found a lot of news outlets there that were really good and neutral, and I quickly learned that they are often more correct than my own Swedish news. And so I trust in them. I trust in them more than I trust in most Swedish media. But anyway, these things contain, like this story contains a connection to COVID, so I just thought I'd go through some stuff about COVID. Some stuff that my friend Antihero, he's in the chat, he was the one who actually clued me in on what I'm about to show you. And I had no idea. It was like early January, I believe. And I think these are statistics from like the Swedish Ministry of Health, or I don't know how you're going to translate this branch of government, but something like that, right? The people calling the shots during COVID for us. So, and I thought that they looked very similar to the statistics that the CDC released. I think they released it in 2020, but at least in 2021 they released these statistics that were very controversial for some reason. I just published them on. I just put a link up to them on Facebook. It immediately got taken down. So I thought that was interesting. But what they said was basically the same thing. So let's take a look. And got 3 tables here. Here's funny story, right? I had like a million tabs in my browser. 2 of those tabs were this Swedish branch of government, their official website with these statistics. And the other was a Google translated version of that, so I could do this stream. And today when I checked them, this page doesn't exist anymore, so they've taken it down. So I was like, okay, but they gotta have some statistics, right? Yeah, but they like did this amazing subdividing of everything and broke it down to number of cases per day and week by county, and no like summarized general statistics as these. But so this is actually a screenshot I took when I first saw these to share to some friends and family, and you'll have to take my word on it that it's completely legit. But maybe before we get into this, I should probably say I'm not a doctor. Maybe I watch too many YouTube streams, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving medical advice. I am not giving legal advice. Not that I know I would do that, but I'm not a doctor, not a lawyer, guys. I am not right wing. Don't call me right wing. I mean, you could do that. I won't censor anyone. Write whatever you want, wherever you want, whenever you see this. I will never censor anyone. But I am not right wing. If you call me that, you are just lying. You have no idea what you're talking about. I am not anti-vax. Okay. I have my reservations, but my parents are vaccinated. My sisters are vaccinated. I'm pretty sure their children are vaccinated, and so on and so forth. And we talk to each other about it, and we didn't kill each other, so nobody has to be angry about anything, I would say. But so I'm not here to tell you if or if not to take the vaccine, even though these statistics tell us something about the vaccines, right? Anyway, I see myself as a bit of an international citizen, right? As you can see, I mean, like I said, I haven't prepared much, but a few weeks back I used my very limited, very not fresh from high school kind of Photoshop skills to put together this overlay, and I imagine this overlay will tell you most of what you need to know about me. And yeah, I don't know. I made the logo, I made these things, and you can see got Ganesh in the background here. He's with us. Keep an eye out for Ganesh, guys. Ganesh is coming. He's got something up his sleeve for us. I'm telling you. Him and Thor, actually. Ganesh and Thor together. Could you imagine that superhero movie? That would be totally amazing. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a reality soon enough. You might think I'm crazy, but I was thinking of including. Still free to do, of including Thor's hammer in the logo. But I have to say that, like, all of my life, Thor's hammer has been, like, I think Sweden might have pioneered this, where, like, any reference to Mjolnir, that's how we would say it, to Thor's hammer, like, if you got a tattoo or you draw it on a piece of paper, it doesn't matter, you got it around your neck, on your shirt, you're a Nazi. You're a Nazi. Of course you're a Nazi. You're a right-wing nut job and a Nazi. And, stop being that. It's so clear. But so I wasn't really sure. But I don't think that it should be any kind of a taboo to go into, like, this 1,000 years of culture and religion if, it's from where your ancestors live. That's strange to me. But so I didn't quite take that step, but I'm telling you, I have intentions to put it on there, and you don't get to call me right wing then either. However, okay, so let's see here. I'm really sorry, guys. Just gonna hide my forehead a little bit more with my. Yeah, we'll see if you get to see all my cultural appropriation at a later date. Send diplomacy, guys, aka reverse xenomorph stream. As seen on the Flaky Skin Network, the Crooked Nose News channel, something or other. But so I have this screenshot. You'll have to take my word for it. It is legit. It is 100% legit. I am not joking. But so. The top table. We got 3 tables here. The top table is like a summarization of the 2 lower ones. So I think we start at 1B. We go to 1C. So table 1B, number of unvaccinated reported intensive care and deceased cases with COVID-19 since 1st of July 2021 with age and sex division, or like gender division. Very loaded stuff. I'm really sorry. Oh man, I don't know if you can hear my dog in the background. She's going crazy. I'm really sorry because I have to pull the volume up on the mic so much. I don't know what, like, the monitoring is it's having its way with me. Anyway, so we can see here, that's number of unvaccinated cases, right? And then we go down to table 1C. We got number of fully vaccinated so-called breakthrough infections among reported intensive care and deceased cases with important word there too, COVID-19 since 1st of July, with age and gender division. Yes. So, but we start at the top. We see We have a total number of reported cases, 47,951 reported cases. I think we're somewhere between 9 and 10 million people in Sweden. Maybe we broke 10 million, I'm not sure, but still. The official like governmental like statistical bureau, the Statistical Central Bureau or whatever, I'm pretty sure, and I'm gonna make sure to source it if it just in case later. But I'm pretty sure that if they can get, when they do surveys and things, if they get 10,000 people, they're happy. Like they think, yes, that's a good statistic for a country of 9 million, at least it was back then when I heard this. And they called me many times. But so, if you get like 100,000, it would be great. Because then you have like an entire percentage of the population, and if it's diverse enough, then why wouldn't you be able to extrapolate something? Because they do based on 10,000 people. So here we got 47,951 people. Obviously, this is the unvaccinated stats. So 100% of these people were unvaccinated. 52% were male. The median age is 21. Median age, I think, we could discuss until the cows come home. It's not really that interesting. And amount of people, like amount of cases where people were over 70 years old. And then we have, like, as we can see on the next row, number of intensive care. Number of people who ended up in intensive care was 231, equaling a 0.48 percentage. Not very high. And the last row is the worst row, of course. I think it's 83 people, which feels like 83 too many, equaling a 0.17 percentage. It's I don't know if I said that correctly, but whatever. You get what I'm saying here. So you're not really running a high risk of being sent to the intensive care. And you're not really running a high risk of ending up diseased either. Worst case scenario, right? Still, you run a risk. But we'll get to that. I'll see if I can remember to go through everything. But so then we go to 1C, and we see like the fully vaccinated breakthrough cases, whatever. So you see that we got 15,401. Should still be, it's three times fewer people. So it's a smaller like statistical sample, sure. It's still a good one, I would say, because it's above 10,000. But that's based on hearsay so far, but I'll try to source something. Number of intensive cares, people who ended up in intensive care, 54, 0.35%. I'll be honest, that speaks to what people have been saying about the vaccines, or what the pharmaceutical companies have been saying about their own vaccines, rather, that you run a lower risk of hospitalization. Clearly we can see that, because not a lot of people who got the vaccine got sick, or at least they didn't report it. So maybe they got, I guess you could speculate, they got the vaccine, thought like, oh, it's just a flu, I'm not going anywhere, I got the vaccine. But here's the interesting part, right? Number of diseased people, 248, equaling a 1.6%. Which to me is so strange. Like that's a way higher percentage. It's way more people from a smaller sample size. Would be interesting to have a bigger sample size, see how that would work out. Of course, that's what I was expecting them to do, like update the statistics, but instead they just took it away. I'm sorry, So that's interesting. And I don't want, like, I've seen this a lot on the YouTubes and what have yous nowadays. And people are just going like, oh yeah, that's 1.6% and that's 0.17%. That means that in the 1.6% side, you have like what is it, like a 9 times? can't calculate. Brain's not working, guys. My brain is not working. I have a cognitive dysfunction at the moment. But so let's say like a 9 times, you're 9 times more likely to. That's what that statistic means. No, it doesn't. I mean, it also means that. It's true. It does mean that. I'm not going to say it doesn't mean that. But it also, you can't ignore like the total percentage. Because you're many times more likely to end up in that total percentage, which is insanely low. And I could discuss like if our governments have utilized this knowledge in any way, shape, or form for a very long time, I believe, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just saying, and this echoes the sentiment like of that early CDC statistics, of those early CDC statistics, where both categories, vaccinated, unvaccinated, we are barely, if we are, then we're just breaking 1%. Now, so personal experience, long time ago, I think over the course of 5 years, I got like the seasonal flu, I guess, really bad 3 times. And 3 times the doctors told me, twice I have pneumonia, and once you have bronchitis. And so the way this played out for me was I got sick, get past the cold part pretty easily, like usual. Maybe one of those things where it was like a real man flu or whatever, which are sure horrible, but not to that extent, right? And so I got sick, got over it, but then kept coughing. So the first time, I'm pretty sure, 5 weeks. I coughed for 5 weeks, and I was like, "This is ridiculous. I gotta go to the doctor. That's all there is to it." And I got the doctor, and he's like, "5 weeks? You're stupid. You never go more than 3 weeks." So then I learned that important lesson, right? Never go coughing after a cold more than 3 weeks, guys. Remember that, because that could be pneumonia, that could be bronchitis, right? That's what the doctors say. That's all I know. That's what they told me. And yeah, sure. And he also said this, like, "How are you walking? Are you working? Why and how? You shouldn't be able to do this. You shouldn't be able to work." And I was like, well, clearly nothing is wrong. I feel fine, and I felt fine. But of course, this is how you diagnose both of those, by the way. So you go to like a doctor, and then he puts a stethoscope on your back, and then you breathe in and out like 3 times, and he goes, "Yeah, you got pneumonia." And you're like, okay. So then it's like penicillin penicillin or antibiotics for like 10 to 14 days, I guess. You feel like fucking shit, but whatever. But so that's when I learned, like, okay, fuck, because he's like, "You could die." That's what he told me, that straight up. Like, this is, people die from this, and that was really my first time. Like, I was 20 something, It was just the first time thinking, like, oh shit, you could die from the flu. And then it happened 2 more times. I didn't go more than 3 weeks. Lucky, I guess. And one of those times, I'm pretty sure, at one of those times, like, both Steve Jobs and Bernie Mac, they're gone. And it was the same thing for them, really. They were also just like, "Oh, I can't shake this cold," like, and then like, boom, they're gone, they're dead. Like, whoa, what? I'm more sad for Bernie Mac there, I guess, but whatever. Shout outs to both of those dudes. But so that's also the first time that I looked up Swedish national statistics for the seasonal flu. And I have those numbers too, but I'm not going to go into them now. You'll have to trust me when I tell you that they were then, and they are still, on an average, they come with a 5% mortality rate. Yes, suck on that, seriously. Just roll it around a little bit. So that's 5%. 5% annually succumb to a seasonal flu on average. And this, on average, is 0.17% for unvaccinated and 1.6% for fully vaccinated. So we could definitely debate on, like, what has happened in our world, right? And I'll be the first to say that, yeah, sure, I can play devil's advocate for myself and be that diplomat that the channel is trying to make me out to be, right? And say that I think it's beautiful, everybody coming together for a common cause to try to save other people, basically, right? Who can complain at that principle? I think that's very difficult. I do think that is something to be, pat yourself on the shoulder for real, not in a condescending way. Like, yes, good, okay, great. Africa's still fucked, though. Like, South America looks like shit. and lithium mines and cobalt and all this shit. Like, what's going on? What the hell is China doing? Like, what are we? It's also such a arbitrary thing to focus on at the same time. I feel, but I see the beauty in it. So I just want to say that once again, not anti-vax or like that. Even though I'm not taking that vaccine, I'm not. That's not for me. You don't get to make me do it. But everybody else who wants it, they should do it. It should be just like the seasonal flu. It's like, oh, I'm in a risk group, I take it. Protect those people who need to be protected, right? So there we go. Like, I mean, and I'm sorry, I'm not Dr. John Campbell here. Like, everything's very ill prepared, and you know, I wish I had like several cameras and like, look at this, and now I'm talking about this, and now I'm talking about that. But you know, I can't. I'm not over there. I'm not on his level. But I'm sure he would be interested in these statistics. But you know, I should have made this a long time ago then. Like, he would give a crap about me. But so yes, I get both sides of what I'm trying to say. You know, praise and criticism. You know, I just can't read these statistics any other way. You can't ignore that percentage. That's my point, right? But so that's just a little bit of a setup, and there's a loose connection here, I guess. At least, I mean, at best. But we're gonna get to it now. We're getting to it, guys. I know you've bared with me so far. Here comes the story, right? Because regardless of what you think of these statistics, right, and like whatever measurements have been taken so far, this is the thing. This is the news that is coming out of India, and it is coming many times. They're still talking about it. There are newer and older articles, but they're all from this year, of course. So let's just have a look at this. I'm be one of those people who read the news online. But so, like I said, now this is why on they're pretty new to me. I've become aware of them since like late last year. I'd say like autumn, beginning of winter last year. It started like, oh yeah, another excellent, absolutely excellent Indian news outlet. Seriously, so great. And so what are they talking about then? Well, as many others in India, a warning from Wuhan. Chinese scientists say new COVID variant, NeoCoV, has a high mortality rate. That's right, high mortality rate. So if you think that what we went through during these past 2 years was bad, right, then you're in for something. We're all in for something. Because that's also the thing, before I go on, I think everybody needs to embrace the lab leak theory. we need to realize that there is an overwhelming amount of evidence, and I'll try to source that stuff in the description later as well. I mean, I don't know how it works on Twitch, but this is going on YouTube eventually and other platforms as well. And I'll try to source every claim that I make. Because I know I've read it pretty recently, so I'd say that there are a lot of credible sources out there who say there is an overwhelming amount of evidence pointing to the fact that SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19, right, escaped from the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That's what happened in 2019 already. And many people during the military Olympics, something I had never heard of until these stories broke, I didn't know that was a thing, got sick with something that was eerily similar, right? And then we have all of these things that they've done in the laboratory, like, and when they deleted that database of what should have been publicly available information, then you know they're covering up something. That wasn't like an accident. Threats are coming in that we're looking into what's been going on there, and they're like, whoops, well, we lost all this data, right? So then you know something is going on. Anyway, those scientists in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, right, they're warning about this about this new COVID variant. So let's see what it says. As the world continues to battle the ongoing pandemic, Chinese scientists from Wuhan have issued a warning against the new variant of coronavirus named NeoCoV. I'm going to say CoV, just because that's how they spell it there, right? So, which is said to be more lethal with a higher infection rate. As per a report by Russian news agency Sputnik, now take that with a grain of salt, of course, but there are more reported sources in other places, right? Also, why would anyone lie about this? And the interesting thing is, why is it only in India? However, as per report by Russian news agency Sputnik, published by several media outlets, and there you go, the NeoCoV variant. So now it's NeoCoV. Was discovered in South Africa and is claimed to be related to respiratory syndrome MERS-CoV, right? However, NeoCoV is not entirely new because it is linked to MERS-CoV virus, and its outbreaks were previously discovered in the Middle Eastern countries in 2012 and 2015. Chinese researchers weighed in on the mortality rate, stating that 1 in every 3 infected person dies, highlighting the higher death rate. Yeah, of course, which is, of course, we could say that's fear-mongering or whatever, but, if it's true, then we should probably know about it. Analyzing the study, the tendency of NeoCoV appears to be similar to SARS-CoV-2, which causes COVID-19 in humans. Scientists have said that NeoCoV was discovered in a bat population. Just a side note, I guess. However, an unpaired study published on the BioRxiv website, I have no idea, mentioned that NeoCoV and its close relative, well, here we go, PDF 2180 CoV can infect humans. Yes, so it can in fact already, I guess, infect humans. As part of the published report read, Middle East respiratory syndrome coronavirus, MERS-CoV, and several bat coronaviruses employ dipeptide, peptidase 4, here from on known as DPP4 or DDP, as their functional receptors. Okay, so it employs this as their functional receptors. However, the receptor for NeoCoV, the closest MERS-CoV relative yet discovered in bats, remains enigmatic. So I guess that's good. So it's not pandemic material yet, as they'll get to. In this study, we unexpectedly found that NeoCoV and its close relative PDF 2180 CoV can efficiently use some types of bat angiotensin converting enzyme 2, also known as ACE2, and less favorably human ACE2 for entry. Okay, so it does have a way into humans, I guess. That's what I'm looking for. You can use these things, these enzymes, and I'm guessing if we look into that more closely, I imagine they are also similar to something found in COVID-19. Otherwise, it wouldn't be important to say at all. After a briefing on NeoCoV, experts from the Russian State Virology and Biotechnology Research Center issued a statement on Thursday, January 27th. As quoted by media reports, it stated, "The Vector Research Center is aware of the data obtained by Chinese researchers on the NeoCoV coronavirus. At the moment, the issue is not the emergence of a new coronavirus capable of actively spreading among humans." Okay, so that's good in one way, but it's coming more. The experts have warned against the potential risk, mentioning the further study and investigations are needed to understand the immune escape. Of late, coronavirus cases have seen a spike globally after the emergence of the variant of concern, Omicron, or Omicron, as some people like to call it, which I really like, man, Omicron. Although, shout-outs to ruler of Omicron Persei 8. And more information and inputs are needed to establish a concrete report on NeoCoV. Although there is no official statement from the World Health Organization, the WHO, but the global health body was quoted by Russian news agency TASS as saying that the claim requires further study. Sure. The organization told TASS whether the virus detected in the study will pose a risk for humans will require further study. It also added that it works closely with the World Organization for Animal Health, OIE, the Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO, and the UN Environment Program, UNEP, to monitor and respond to the threat of emerging zoonotic viruses. Yes, so they're doing this So here's the thing. I don't know. I kind of want to show this video with this wonderful woman who reads the news on Wyon. And she will tell you, and you'll have to take my word for it again, and I can probably find another source. I'm so sorry that But basically, to summarize here, I'm not going to show that because I don't know if I'll get in trouble, even though it's like publicly available. I've been reading up on the Swedish stance on like fair use. We don't have such a thing as fair use, and I don't know if anybody would ever care anyway. But I just feel like let's just play it cool. Play it cool. Take my word for it. What these Wuhan scientists are saying. I'm going to see if I actually pull it up here. Let's see here. That they said that it's just one mutation away. So this is basically the same story. It's just one mutation away from being transmissible to humans. I didn't see that in the story. I swear I read this earlier and I was like, yeah, it's right there. But I thought also like, yeah, I'll just show her saying some of these things. See, I played this already, but maybe it plays every time you go in, but still. So this new virus is being studied by the people at the prestigious Wuhan Institute of Virology, the people in no way, shape, or form responsible for the current pandemic. I mean, somewhere right now, Bill Gates is smiling, right? When he read this, it's like, oh yes, it's coming. Well, you know, it's coming, guys. So they want to study this thing, and I'm not sure that that's such a good idea. So Wuhan warns of new virus. This is bad. You know, it's just bad because Wuhan lab is most likely, at least a little bit, just a little bit, responsible for like the current state of things. And I don't want to say those terms of like, you know, I watched a lot of the most, I would say, of the Senate or like Congress hearings that they've been having with Fauci and all this stuff, you know, and I don't know. I think things look pretty clear that things haven't been on the up and up, as they say, at least. And I really wish that someone would make sure this lab does not get to continue their research, or at least that they follow like international protocol. And no lab anywhere in the world, I think no lab after this, no lab should be allowed to experiment with viruses for increased transmissibility. Call it what you will. That to me seems like a really foolish endeavor. Especially, I mean, you know, if we have no adherence to the current rule set, which should be that, no, you can't do that. Used to be that. That's how it used to be, you know? And I'm not saying this to be racist. I'm not saying this to be a right-wing nut job. I'm saying this because I am genuinely concerned. And I can only imagine how our government will react if this thing becomes a reality. And so, yeah, I guess that's kind of it. I'm really sorry that I haven't prepared more. I wish that I had like everything figured out for this. I just had a couple of scenes in OBS, and the way I live my life right now, it's like I take an hour here, an hour there, and that's it. I have maximum 2 hours to spend on other things in the day as it is right now. Today I had even less. So I had about an hour before to do like sound tests and just set up all these accounts and connect Twitch to this. And yes, so it's just, I'm really winging it right now. And I think that hopefully if you see some potential in it, you know, you should rest comfortably knowing that it's only going to get better from here. Yeah, and I guess in my head I could sew this up way better, but I didn't, and I feel really dumb that the part, I swear it was there. It's like the Swedish statistics, they're gone now. I swear. I mean, this is a tab that I've had open for over a month, And when I read it the last time, the bulk of the story, I'm pretty sure that the headline was scientist says it's only one mutation away from like infecting humans. But I guess really what they are saying, maybe they've updated it something, I'm not sure. But I guess what they really are saying though, which is clear, is that there is the capacity for human transmissibility. So once again, I just think this should be bigger. People should be talking about this. I should not be the one who brings this to the forefront, especially when India seems to be exploding with this news. They are going crazy. But so I'm also a little bit interested in like how it all ties into, because it is a major coinkydink that this info emerges and permeates India as they're having a legal battle, I guess, with Pfizer regarding more vaccines. Because they're staunchly putting their foot down and saying no, we need more studies. And I've read several articles about that too. And I if I had thought a little bit further ahead, I would have had that, but I don't. And it's getting late, and I'm just happy that somebody was in here. Shout outs to Antihero. Boom. My guardian angel online. Let's go, baby. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. So I guess I peaked. I've totally peaked. It's not going to get better than this for now. So I think I could just sign off, knowing that I've done my best. And so once again, thank you for watching Ascend Diplomacy. AKA uncensored, unshaved, and unshowered. Like I said, as part of the Flaky Skin Network, we're here for you. Cover up your forehead, boys. Guys, people. Non-denominated people that just, yes. We don't need to be specific. I'm really sorry. Please don't cancel me. That's not funny, but I am serious about that stuff. I'm not here to offend anybody. I really am not. That's also like part of the name, Zen Diplomacy. Now I flashed some title cards in the beginning, but like Zen, being guided by intuition more than anything else, and diplomacy. I'm not upsetting anyone whilst discussing things that may actually criticize your viewpoints. I'm not here to take your right to get vaccinated away, and I'm not a doctor, you guys, not a doctor. I'm sure that made a noise. No medical advice, all opinions. This is an exercise of free thought and analysis and free speech, whatever, what have you. I'm not a Nazi, even though you might see a Thor's hammer on the logo in sometime in the future. But so, thank you for this, for joining me. Hi, Nico. I see you, baby. Shout out. So this concludes, I would say, this inaugural live stream on the 22nd of the second month of the 22nd year in the 20th century. No, the 21st century, I guess, right? That's how English people do it. On the second day of the week. You can't make up those numbers, for sure. And like I said, you keep your eyes on the sky, people. Thor and Ganesh are watching over you, and they are getting ready to descend. I promise you. Sometime in the future, we're going to cover that as well. I'm sure of it. But until then, just take my word for it. So says my dog. Namaste, you guys. Namaste.